Well, the story of aligned showings is pretty interesting in that our board had been telling us for years that they did not want a showing tool here, a scheduling tool here at MLS Listings. And the reason is because our market has always been fairly fast moving. And in a fast moving environment, they didn't want to be bogged down by having to go in and pick a schedule, pick a time. And so our board had always been telling us for years, don't put that in place here. We'll deal with it. And then we had the pandemic in 2020, and then it was difficult to get into a house to show it. And then there were these rules, if you remember, that only so many people could be in the house at the same time. And so it became more important to start going back and looking at what those different scheduling tools were that are out there. And so the board did ask us, hey, go back and see if you can bring in a scheduling tool as part of the subscriber benefits. And so we found one that was one of the very top used ones in the nation called Showing Time. Really cool product, did a lot of things. And I had a contract in hand, ready to sign it. And then they had the announcement that they were acquired by Zillow. And Zillow is a broker and a broker in our MLS. And so then it opened up a lot of questions about, should we be paying a broker to offer services that we can then make available to all of our subscribers? And so the board said, hey, wait a minute, time out, Dave. Have you signed that? Is the ink dry? And no, I hadn't signed it yet. So we went back to the drawing board and we said, let's go back and look at the universe of different players in the market that have scheduling tools available. And so we started that. And they must have been about 20, almost 20 different companies. And some of these you've never heard of. I mean, they looked at the opportunity and said, hey, there's a lot of MLSs out there that don't want to go with Showing Time because it's owned by Zillow, and they're switching. They're looking at something else to offer. And so all of these little startups started popping up in this space and coming up with scheduling tools. And so we started looking at those. And an interesting fact is that MLS Listings has a couple of different partnerships. One of the partnerships we have is with a group of MLSs that we call MLS Aligned. MLS Aligned consists of ourselves, Arizona Regional, Utah, Portland, Milwaukee, Beaches. Let's see, am I leaving anybody out? I hope not. And so I called them and I said, hey, I'm reviewing these companies. I have at the time, I think I had about 8 on the list. I think there are more. Are you guys reviewing them too? And guess what? They were all doing the same thing. They had already used Showing Time for most of them, but they had to back out of that contract and look for something else. We were all doing the same exact analysis. And so we started comparing notes and saying, well, what do you think of this one? What about that one? Have you looked at this one yet? And as we were doing that, we came together and we said, a lot of these that we're looking at are little startups that just kind of sprung up into the space, and their goal in life was to create a really cool scheduling tool that could be acquired by somebody. So why would we want to get right back into that same boat where we about ready to sign, or maybe we have it in deployment, and then they go and get acquired? So we said, let's start crossing off the list these people whose only sole intent, who just materialized out of nowhere, is to be acquired. And so as we started talking through this with those other MLSs from MLS Aligned, we said, wouldn't it be interesting if the collection of MLSs from MLS Aligned acquired some software assets that did this, and then we would own it, and then we can control it as an MLS, because then we know that we're not going to sell it to a broker, because that would just not be the right thing to do from an MLS perspective. And so we came together, we found a company that had a scheduling tool that wasn't the main feature of their tool. And so it was available. And so we acquired it. We did need to take some time and add some more features to it, make it do all the stuff we needed it to do. And then we rolled it out in 2020. MLS Listings was the first from that list of MLS aligned group that has it in production and is using it in 2022. Utah is planning on coming next, and then I think Arizona will be after that. And eventually you'll have all of those agents from those different MLSs from MLS Aligned using the scheduling tool. And then MLS Aligned will look to other MLSs because we have other MLSs who are asking us, hey, if you guys create something, buy an MLS for MLSs, then we trust that. You're gonna do the right thing with the data. You're going to make sure that it doesn't slip out of your hands into someone else's hands that we don't think would be the right owners for this. We believe that MLS ownership there would help them. That's what the other MLSs are telling us. And so now we're thinking, hey, after we get this deployed in all of the MLS aligned MLSs, we'll start looking at other MLSs, and it's another non-dues revenue opportunity for us, where we can sell the scheduling tool to other MLSs as well. That's how we got into aligned showings, and it's an interesting story of how we got there. Well, the benefit for us having that as part of our toolkit, it's free for all of our subscribers to use. That's one of the big things. It's a new tool that's meeting a need for scheduling showings, which we didn't have before, which now, in a changing environment, we need. But the interesting part, the real big benefit, is the fact that it's owned by 6 MLSs. And we've come together and we've decided, hey, these are the features that it should have. And we're taking an MLS view of it, not some vendor who's a startup who wants to be acquired later. They have an exit plan. No, this is something that's come together for MLSs, by MLSs, with the needs of our subscribers first and foremost. And it's not that different from what we're doing with Aculus Disclosures. Right, with Aculus Disclosures, we made an acquisition, just MLS Listings, not as a partnership, but MLS Listings made an acquisition of a software asset for Aculus Disclosures. And now we own that, and now we can take that forward on roadmaps that make sense to us.
Make sure to check out our Pro Support page for additional videos on a full range of topics. And don't forget to click that subscribe button on our MLS Listings YouTube page.